Hello and welcome to Gaming Evaluation. In this episode, I'll talk a bit about the rest of the game start points. First will be our snow planet. When I had the chance, I have pointed out the starts while I played. But figured it's a good idea to see how they all are. The biggest problem with this world is there's a good chance you'll freeze to death before you get anything protective built once you leave here and start heading to the HUD location. But because you're starting off with a couple of fights right at the beginning, ooh, look at how bad that got. You know, at least gain enough levels to get started to be able to build a base quick. And buried in the snow is quite a bit of resources. But most likely you'll freeze to death before you get anywhere to get any help. Alright, the next world is Skillion. Our nice little desert planet. We start up here stuck in the sky. As soon as you sit down, you can pretty much guide this in any direction you want. Should have guided it more towards the forest. But hey, I wasn't thinking. Most of the stuff you'll get is scrap. It looks like it's going to be a bugger to get the 10 carbon, so you can get started with building and collecting oxygen, which you need, and water. There's a lot of ruins to explore. Food's probably going to be at a premium. Honestly, these first two, I wouldn't start at unless you really want a challenge. But once you get a base and a ship that can leave the planet, it's basically all the same. if there isn't a core, means you can take these parts as is. Once you get that one tool. So you probably build a base pretty quickly. If you can find the right stuff. Take a look at the ship. There isn't much anything there. It's yours, so it's up to you whether you want to try to fix it or not. But I'm thinking it's just a hover vehicle, even if it gets fixed. The most ironic thing is if you let it fall straight down instead of trying to glide to somewhere, the spot it falls into has plenty of the resources you need to get started. Alright, now for the third planet. The nice little swamp world. Honestly, says it's the hardest, nastiest planet because you're always under attack. But I actually found it's better than the planet from the playthrough. You have a good load of all the resources. As long as you get a decent weapon, you've got plenty of ways to protect yourself. And they do give you a bit of food and a flamethrower here at the beginning. The hard part's just getting away from these spiders or scorpions. And there's a bunch of them. There's a good chance you probably die and have to respawn. Which will get you out. So I definitely go into this one with the keep all items on death. Since you do find some handy items. Just a shame you can't make any more of the fuel. But that's a wrap-up complaint. look, you come out into a spot full of basic resources. And as you circle around, you'll find every other resource you need. You don't have to go for miles to, or to even to the other planets to get things till much later. And this planet does have you the first taste of a future enemy outpost, but unlike those other enemy outposts, this one's actually neutral and can give you quests. Just like you can get quests from a single location on all 5 start locations. This is the only one that's in a different solar system, and you start in space. So it's the most extreme of all your start locations, technically, especially since you start without being in a spacesuit. So you have just enough time to turn around, walk through the door, and get back into oxygen. But you'll find way more to start with. Really doesn't give you much information. There is a place you can get to. That's a orbiting space station where you can start picking up quests. Get one each of basic food stuff, and a couple of things to eat. And unlike the other ones, at least this one, you're not starting injured and hungry. It is a spawn point. You do have construction, but you're basically almost out of fuel and oxygen. Matter of fact, just making 1 or 2 things will probably kill all your fuel. There's the core. And its whole goal is for you to rebuild this ship. There's your fuel, your oxygen, and gravity. I think the gravity's what's killing the fuel. You're surrounded by a bunch of cargo pods. Now, I think the biggest problem you run into is you'll get cold quick. So you definitely want those coffees or whatever they're called that will warm you up if you want to go further than, say, what I just did. So, until you get used to it, expect to die at least once. I have no coffees on me. There are 2 of them in this chest. water and CO2 here. Here, your O2 extractor. There's just enough coffees that with the loadout I have, you can make the space station from here. The one thing I'd suggest doing is hitting all those storage things, though. Go hit a few, come back to your ship to warm up. Go hit a few, come back, you know. The usual back and forth crap. Getting it all stuck into your storage. And yes, there is a distance thing. So you can transfer it easy. You do get a little bit of stuff to make more fuel from these chests. You can also find more fuel here. Get one of each type of plant. Kind of think that's random. And the last thing I learned about this game is you can make planetfall in just your spacesuit. Just make sure your jetpack is on. Which means your whole goal then would be go down to the planet after you gather all your supplies, put everything you want into your inventory and skydive onto the planet. Because you really don't have much time with the fuel here. And that brings up my one of my biggest complaints with this game. Once you get towards the end of your tech tree, you should be able to have better generators and fuel, like nuclear or well, anything. Wind. Get that little bit of solar. And I've seen places that could be windmills. This is sci-fi. You could have a gravity generator. It makes electricity from the gravity around you. But no, you're stuck making and hunting for fuel 90% of your time. Because once you get even just a little bit of food growing in a base, you never run out of food. And if you're planning to go down to the planet, make sure to take one of them motorcycle thingies with you. Take all your basic resources if you're going down to the planet. Because God knows when you'll be back up here. It's no use leaving them behind. But the good news is, you don't have to worry about that stupid book. I'll let you teleport between the 4 planets in this one. But there is a place down on the planet that makes a good starting base. You just need enough bullets to take out the core. And just to prove what I said about skydiving through the atmosphere, that's what we're going to do. And I got lucky falling on top of that. And those towers are here and there all over the planet. So I checked it out twice to try to figure it out since it was kind of new. But this is the only place I found besides those towers. On a good chunk of the planet. And if you're really lucky, because I didn't go and get the rest of those containers before I showed this, you'll come down with a lot more ammunition because these robot thingies are out to kill you. And this too hot thing you also run into on that desert planet. And you also run into fire rain there. And I haven't seen that here yet, but I'm betting it'll happen too. So your whole goals is let these produce your oxygen, your gases, and liquids. I didn't see any fiber producing things down here. Take over this nice little base by making a new core. And fill in all the holes. It means you'll probably end up having to go and gather crap up to make blocks to patch them. And with that, I've ended Empyrion. If you guys want to see more of this, let me know in the comments. I might be willing to revisit this later once I figure it out a little more. And I hope you enjoy the next program.